Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, where you can take some time to consider the benefits of understanding body language and nonverbal communication, how you put yourself out into the world, and how you can understand the minds of others. Today, we're going to talk about a very clear way of identifying that someone is annoyed at you or someone is going through a degree of tension and anxiety triggered by something in real time. If you enjoy the topic at hand and the information I provide, please feel free to click the subscribe button to keep in touch. I have numerous videos I've put out and I will only continue to put out more, so thanks in advance. Right, okay, so what I want you to consider this is being a pain in the neck. Right? So when we think of us being a pain in the neck or something being a pain in the neck, it means a nuisance, it means something less than desirable, okay? If you're a pain in the neck, to put it bluntly, you're being annoying, okay? So if you're annoying someone and they believe you're a pain in the neck, there's a significant body language cue that comes with that. They lift their hand and they will rub the back of their neck, okay? So if they are annoyed at you, something you've said, or potentially a topic you're discussing, if they feel discomfort, they will feel that pain in the neck. Not literally, as it isn't a literal pain, but it's a fantastic way to identify this behaviour. The hand will come up and they will rub the back of their necks, okay? So, evolutionary speaking, we have special types of tiny muscles, right, on the backs of our necks. The muscles are a little bit outdated at this point, considering we aren't the hairy beings we used to be. But they're still there and they still exist to enable a fur-raising reaction, okay? When we feel a potential threat or wish to intimidate, okay? So what I want you to picture is the cat, the common household domesticated cat, right? When the cat is threatened or wants to be aggressive, they will enlarge themselves, and what they will do to look bigger and bolder and scarier and more dominant is they will raise their hair, okay? So not only will they expand their body and take up more space, but their hair will do the same thing, alright, to make the cat look larger. And that's what we still have within our biology to this day, right? So when you annoy someone or something annoys somebody, them muscles will engage, causing a tickle in the back of the neck, alright? Now, the majority of people don't know anything about nonverbal communication and how their body reacts to certain stimuli. So what they believe is a normal tickle on the back of the neck, what needs a rub, you will be able to identify that as a back of the neck rubbing gesture, alright? But I want you to consider it as the pain in the neck gesture, alright? Now, I don't want you to get it confused with them rubbing the front of the neck or the sides of the neck, because they correlate to completely different circumstances. You want to pay attention to the back of the neck, alright? So rubbing the back of the neck, such as any self-touching gesture, is a pacifying behaviour, okay? If you've watched my previous videos, you should be very well aware of the pacifying behaviour now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video which explains thoroughly how this works, so you can identify it through whichever cue you are witnessing in real time. What happens when the individual touches the back of the neck is they rub nerve endings, alright? It releases positive endorphins and it lowers the heart rate, okay? So nerve endings can be found in the face, so somebody can rub their forehead when they're feeling stressed, they can touch their cheek when they're feeling stressed, they can touch their wrist, their arm, their legs, If they're touching themselves, especially if they're rubbing themselves, it's an unconscious display of self-soothing, alright? And for the most part, people won't understand why they're doing it or pay any attention to why they're doing it. But you, as a experienced observer of nonverbal behaviors, you'll be able to identify it straight away. Okay, so let's create an example, yeah? You're talking to a friend and you bring up their girlfriend or their boyfriend. Little do you know that they have broken up with that individual only the night before, but it hasn't been declared in the open yet. But they know. So you speak to them about what you consider a loving relationship. You ask them how their significant other is. And what you see in real time is a verbal agreement that things are fine, yet they rub the back of their neck in response alongside that verbal agreement. Okay? So when you pay attention to a clash of communications between the mouth and the body, you pay attention to the body because it's a lot more honest. Alright? And it's not conjured up in the conscious brain like verbal communication is. You can very rarely lie with your body language, alright? So the hand comes up, rubs the back of the neck. From there you can identify that you've stricken some form of anxious, insecure or stressed behaviour in this individual. From there it's up to you to wonder why. As we know, we don't pay attention to isolated behaviours, but we look at the whole picture. We look at the cluster of behaviour that surrounds what we've paid attention to, alright? Because that will tell you the full story. So just to re-clarify, as I do think this is a very important cue to take into consideration. You will see it very regular. I consider this the pain in the neck cue. When you're speaking to someone and they feel irritated through whichever means, they'll feel a tingle in the back of the neck. What that is that's an evolutionary process, a biological survival trait that's been implemented within us as primates for a very long time. We might have lost the hair, but we still do have the hardwiring of that ancestral primate. So, the muscles on the back of the neck trigger in response to a potential threat. The individual at hand purely thinks it's a tickle of the back of the neck when really it's not. They raise the hand to tickle the back of the neck. From there you can identify that you've annoyed this individual. Alright, so take this into the field. You'll be able to see this at work with your spouse, with a stranger, with your boss, with your family. It's going to assist you in communicating more efficiently, being a better person, and being able to not overstep any boundaries, okay? So thank you for listening. You've been listening to Everyday Superpower, where you can take some time to consider the benefits of understanding body language and nonverbal communication. If you like what I do and you like what we've been speaking about today, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.